To the young brothers carry anger inside, I understand the pain, but don't let it decide who you become or who you leave behind. Don't trade your whole future for one reckless night. To the young sisters chasing money at any cost, don't help destroy the same community we've lost. The setup for a robbery ain't worth a human soul. One decision can create damage nobody controls. To the elders, we need your guidance. To the teachers, we need your knowledge. To the fathers, we need your presence. To the mothers, we need your wisdom. The village has to come back. The unity has to return, because the next generation is watching everything we do. No more funerals, no more burying babies, no more mothers crying, no more communities breaking. Lift your brother, lift your sister, lift your people, lift each other. No more hate, no more division. It's time for healing, it's time for vision. Imagine the future where the children feel safe, where every young king understands his place, where every young queen knows the worth and power, where unity grows stronger every hour. Imagine neighborhoods building businesses again, families creating wealth instead of visiting pens. Imagine fathers at home teaching sons how to lead, and mothers being honored for the lives that they see. Imagine elders respected every place they go, passing down wisdom only experience can know. Imagine black people standing together once more, not perfect, but united at the core. That's the dream, not destruction, not division, but healing, building, growing, living. Because our story ain't over, and our greatest chapter can still be written. Wake up, black people. The future calling. Wake up, black people. Wake up, black people. The ancestors watching. Protect our women, protect our children, protect our elders. Let's rebuild our village. Wake up, wake up, black people.
Right, this is, and you are Under the Groove. Welcome everybody to Under the Groove Podcast TV. Here I am, and there you are. Happy Friday, if we can call it that. Before I get started, I want to send a shout out to the family of Baby Box. He was on the live last night. You know, our condolences go out to the family and to that community. Again, here we have another senseless unaliving. None of it makes any sense. I was about to say anymore, but it never really did. You know, sad shit, you know, and that go for any brother or sister, don't care what community they come from. It's a waste. And we have to wake up, y'all. We have to wake up, you know. We have others unaliving our people, you know, just as much as we are. So, you know, we have to wake up and do something different, you know. Start having this love and respect for one another. It's worth it. Trey Reed, Kyle Basinga, Cyrus Carmack Belton, Carmelo Anthony, Tania Nicole Miller, Nolan Wells, Tori Metley, Tamela Hornsfoot, Jarrett J. Jackson. That's just to name a few. Lost, you know, for, again, you know, reasons that, you know, we quick to say, hey, racism this, racism that, and look at what we're doing to one another. You know, no matter how we call these names and how they left, end up leaving this all senseless, but more so when we're doing it to one another, you know, it makes no sense, you know, again, over streets and, you know, shit we don't own, we don't control, we don't, you know, we don't run, you know, again, you know, our condolences out to that family, man. It's some sad shit, man. And again, this shouldn't be happening. Not in this day and age, not while we understand what's going on around us. We see what's happening in the world and society where we're concerned. That should be all that we need to get it together, to wake up, you know, and come together and do what we're supposed to do. Not worry about nothing else, especially each other. Especially each other. All right. I just want to drop that, man, to say that right quick. You know, crazy work, man. Crazy work, you know. We got to get it together, man. We need to protect each other, man, protect our women, our children. You know, we need to make sure that when something, this magnitude occurs, and I'm talking about Baby Box as well as Nolan Wells, Cyrus Belton, any of them, we have to know that we should respond to this stuff. We should respond and we should act on it accordingly, and listen, man, ain't nothing gonna change unless we decide to change it, unless we change it. That's a fact. As long as we keep sitting back and talking about, well, it wasn't me, you're laying you're laying the foundation for it possibly being someone close to you if we don't act on this type of stuff. We need to deal with this ourselves in our community, our communities with our young brothers and sisters. We have to bring this to an end. We have to stop it. If we don't do it, there are others who want to make sure that it continues, So we have to do this, man. We have to step up, step out and step up and start dealing with this shit like we should. This shit that's going on in our communities, this shit got to end, man. It's high time this end. And that's going to take everybody. But especially those of us who is in this lifestyle or that lifestyle, who knows, what the end road is, what the end game is, we have an obligation to step up and step out, man. Speak up and speak out. Find a way to bring an end to all this shit, all this madness. It could be whatever you want to call it, a ceasefire, a peace treaty, whatever. Something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. And then you ain't going to get it done. It's not going to get done because you're going to vote for some person who tell you they're going to end all this stuff, crime and da-da-da. That ain't how that works. It's not, they're not going to do squat. If we want something done, we're going to have to do it. Simple as that, It's as simple as that. So one last time, man, shout out, man, to the family, man, of Baby Box, to that community. And not only him, but other brothers and sisters who have been unalived in the last few days, man, from Compton to LA. It's time to wake up, Black people. It is time. All right. All right. That being said, like I say, here I am, and there you guys are. It's an honor to be here again. Grand rising to each and every one of you. Peace and prosperity to each and every one of you. Had a rough day yesterday, man. I was set up to go and everything. And then, that's just how shit happens. Catastrophe happens. Something takes place that knocks you off course. And I have to admit, I was knocked off course. And it took me a few hours to get shit straight. It was nothing, nothing detrimental to myself or my family. Just, what life throws at us. You know what I mean? So got that out of the way, man. And, here I am, here I am. Believe it or not, I trust that I'm a better person for that experience yesterday. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Back at it, back at the helm. So what's happening with everybody? What does it look like? How has it been for each and every one of you? Well, like I say, I'm here, man, and I'm grateful for that fact. Man, a lot of us did not make it to the day, and that's something we need to start thinking about. That's something we got to start reflecting on, our lives and our futures. All right. Get that some thought. I see you, Hoover Snipe. Much love. Awa. Queen Nzinga, peace and blessings. Kings and queens in the RGC. We made it through another week. Every challenge you face, every obstacle you overcome, and every step you took brought you closer to your goals. Be one, Black first. Appreciate that, Queen Nzinga, for dropping that. You say another black man that will never make it home again, and another family is grieving a loss that can never be replaced. We have to stop the violence. Every life has value, and let's be quite clear, and that is quite clear. We have to especially stop this violence towards one another. Again, over what? Over what? All right. Appreciate that, Queen Nzinga. Real spit. Henry Stella, what's going on with brother? Peace and blessings, everyone. One love from the LBC. Salute, brother Bub. Hope everything was good with you and your family. Everything is everything on this end, brother. We're all right over here, and we hope the same for you. May the same be, taking place with you and your family and your lives. All right, we're here, man. It's all good. It's all good. Trust. Yeah, all right, Chris, I see you. B1 Black First. Yeah, man, I've just been, just taking this shit in, man, just thinking about all this shit, our brothers, man, just being snuffed out, man. And all of it is crazy work, you know what I mean? Whether it's, some racism or if it's just self-hate, you know what I mean? It's all crazy work, just been reflecting on all this shit today, man. Like, okay, man, we have to get to the point where we understand what's really happening, what's really going on. We're in a position, we're in a time where we can make this whatever we choose it to be. And I'm speaking purely and strictly about positivity, bringing something new to the table for each and every one of us. This shit we see going on, this old, man. This old work, man. Old and boring, old and boring. It's time, man, for us to get onto something new, get on this shift, man, get in this movement. And this movement is nothing but us getting ours together, In the process of that, we're coming together, or we should, Everything else, man, I'm telling you, is crazy work and it's for naught. It ain't worth spit, It ain't worth spit. Yeah, man. I almost had the feeling not to come in today because it's sad work, man. This is sad work, It's a sad work, man. I love doing this, but when you hear shit and you see certain things, to be like, oh my God, kind of takes the wind out of your sails. You know what I mean? Sad work, man. I actually don't even know where to, begin, man. But shit, I'm here, man. So, just bear with me. Bear with me, man. I had something lined up, but again, man, my whole mentality, my whole attitude about it now is like, I'm looking for something. I had something set up. I don't know where it is now. Shit. Okay, let's go. Anyway. All right, I ain't gonna worry about it. All right, found her. Okay, I might mess with that one later. Yeah, so here we are, man. I've been, like I say, today, man, that's just one of them days where I'm like, okay, what the hell? What the hell? I get the text message about the young one. Now on top of that, before that, I'm looking at, I'm doing my research on the young brother Nolan, and I run across all these other individuals. So those names I call were also names of our brothers and sisters who've been unalive recently, or in past months, all this year. Most of those are at the hand of of others, you know. Just the fact that I got word about Baby Bops was just damn. That's just something you add to this. Then we're talking about what happened on 4th of July, in Compton. All this shit is just crazy, man. And I'm telling you, it can drain you. It can sap you, man. Your energy, man. That vitality. You got your mind wired right. You want to come into a situation. You want to chop it up on some revolutionary positivity. You know what I mean? And then you get this type of stuff. It'd be like, damn. Where do you go from there? You know what I mean? Where do you go from there? All right. So I don't know, man. CEO Gatewood say, yo. All right. Good to see you up in here again, brother. Antonio, what it do, man? Love and salute, bro. Love and salute. Yeah, this is one of them things, man. One of them days. It's Friday, but I'm not too, it's just Friday, man. Shit. It's just Friday, man. I appreciate the fact that I'm here. I ain't gonna lie. You know, I'm not down, I'm not depressed or nothing, but it's damn saps your energy, man, just dealing with this shit, you know. And the more we see us accomplishing, it's like the more we see us going backwards, you know. And that's what's crazy to me. I was through LA earlier today and passing by the shops, and I noticed some of them shops ran by Asians, you know, had people in them, our people, you know. I think, and I said this last week, I was gonna start just, you know, shooting up in there and hey, you know, with my phone, like, hey, don't y'all didn't get the memo type of get down, you know what I mean? Y'all off code, what's happening, you know? But while saying that, also give them, you know, a reference somewhere else to go that's black owned, black ran, you know. But I had people with me today, so you know, I wasn't gonna, you know, uh do all that, and I got, you know, my family with me. So I said, okay, man, I'm gonna have to make it a point to do this, you know, because again, these play especially over here on Manchester and Western, you know, most of y'all may know that location. There are a few spots over there where those are not our people. Those are the same people that, you know, treat us the way we, you know, the way they do. But again, I got to thinking of all this other shit going on. I'm like, damn, man, that seems so corny, being on the necks of others about how they treat us, and then look at what we're doing to one another. You know, look at how we're treating ourselves, you know, and damn, it just didn't feel right. You know, it didn't jive with me. It was like, ah, man, this it's not a good feeling, a good vibe, you know. It just wasn't, you know. So, you know, we're gonna figure this shit out, man. We got to. CEO Gaywood say, honestly, man, this is why I'm moving out of the country to South America and Africa. I'm tired of it all. And that may be to some of us the thing to do, but here's the reality, even in that respect, right? It's all over the world. It's all over the world. No matter where you go, there it is. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's like, you know, you can run, but it'll still find you. Because that's the way, for whatever reason, that's what it is. And I think that the only way to break this thing that we're, you know, we want to run from, get away from, avoid, not be a part of it, is to confront it, to deal with it. Until we do, it will remain no matter where we go. No matter where we go. You go to Africa right now, and they over there, man, in certain parts of that on that continent, others are tripping on each other in a real way. And it's spreading. It's spreading, you know. Then, hey man, you know, I'm checking out some shit today in South Africa. Now, the Zionist Jews or Israelis call themselves want to go and run roughshod in South Africa now, telling them Africans they can't do jack in their own country. No matter where you go, it's there. You know what I mean? But you got South Africans tripping on Ghanaians, Nigerians. What now? You got those in Ghana. I think it's Ghana. They're tripping on others. You know, this shit is crazy, man. Nigerians tripping on people. You know, it's some shit we got to deal with ourselves first, I think. And then again, we can run as far and wide as we want to. There it is. It's gonna be there. Tripping off Argentina today. I didn't know Argentina was so anti-black. Crazy work. I go and look at the history of Argentina, and they what's the word, man? They cleansed blackness out of Argentina. Argentina's history, if you go back and look at it, black South Americans, black Argentinians, whatever you want to call it. Hey, that is changed over there, and they are super anti-black over there. You know, it's crazy work. No matter where you go, there it is. It will be there. You know, but I get your sentiment. I understand what you're saying on that, you know, in that regard, CEO. Yeah, you know, but I you know, to run from it does not eliminate it, you know. It doesn't eliminate the issues or the problems that exist. Violence is everywhere. Racism is even more prevalent, than violence. But what racism begets? Violence. There's no running from it. You know what I mean? So that's the crazy part, man. But I like I say, I understand, man. Antonio said, man, I'm still with you, man. I shared, man, it's on. Yeah, appreciate you. Appreciate that of you, bro. Yeah, please like, share, follow, comment. And for those of you who haven't, I don't know if you have or not, CEO Gaywood, subscribe to this Get Down, man. Let's get it out there. Like and share this Get Down. Let's get it out there, man. This is where we, ain't no nonsense, man. We got too much of that going on, You can't even go on social media nowadays without seeing brothers acting like damn fools, right? We want to bring something different to the table, man. And that's what we've been on since we've been here. We've been here a couple of years now. And it seems that it's gotten worse. It's gotten way worse in terms of social media and what our brothers and some of our sisters are putting out there in terms of content. It's all self-destructive, but we're going to continue to push and do how we do, push out that content that we think is more helpful and uplifting and empowering to the people. So this is why we ask to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this Get Down. We'd appreciate that, bro. Yeah, appreciate it, Antonio. Thank you for that, man. All right, B60, what's going on, loved one? He said, greetings and salutations to you, bub, and the RGC. That's the Royal Group Congregation. B1 is Black First. Black First, all right? CEO said, man, it's in South Africa, but it isn't like that in Senegal, Ghana, Uganda, Angola, Nigeria, Namibia, etc. It's green in those areas. Colombia is good. Dominican Republic is good. Panama, Costa Rica is all green. Yeah, you're talking about the geography. You know what I mean? But again, I was just, in checking out some stuff today. And in fact, Uganda, as well as Ghana, one or both are starting to have this mentality that we see taking place in South Africa, with the South Africans being upset with everybody other than South Africans. You know what I mean? People are starting to be, xenophobes and stuff. If you ain't from here, why you here? Get the hell out, da, da, da. Again, there's something going on in the world, and for the most part, a lot of us haven't not accepted it, but we're in denial in a lot of respects of the fact that the world is getting worse. It's not getting better. It's not getting better. So those spots, those places, geographically speaking, that we consider now to be, hey, they're green, they're cool, the world is messed up. So that means then it's like a disease. It's a dis-ease in the world, and that shit is gonna spread. And what we're saying, a lot of us anyway, we're saying, hey man, what's the best remedy for what we see taking place in the world? That would be us. That would be us. We are the solution to our problem and the problems that people try to put on us. We are the only ones who can correct it, mend it, heal it. You know what I mean? Nobody else. No one else, But yeah, those places, especially in Africa, we have to understand what's going to take place in Africa also in the next 5 years or so. If those brothers over there don't get it together, the West is coming. They're coming. Trust and know that. Everything they need is over there in the soil, in that green, lush land. Them jungles, them hills, and mountains. Everything they want and need is right there. They're coming. They're coming either by hook or crook. Either you're going to give it to them or they're going to take it. But that can only occur, that can only happen if those brothers over there, those countries over there, their leaders, the people don't have it together. That's how that's going to happen. The DRC in the Congo, look what's happening. And as that war, that civil war rages on, or that conflict between brothers rages on, guess what the West is doing? They're over there extracting the resources. They're letting them fight, giving them guns, give each side gun, play both ends to in the middle, keep that war going, keep them distracted, go and take that stuff. It's a war-torn country, you know. I mean, man, hunger and starvation is actually taking place over there. That's just one of many, you know, that are going through that on that continent. I'm just saying, man, it's something for us to really think about. Something to think about. If we're gonna, hey, no matter where you go, man, you better be prepared to do battle. That's what I'm saying. You have to be ready for that. You have to be ready for that. Okay. Brother CEO say, I subscribed a long time ago. Appreciate that, loved one. Appreciate that. Thank you. Anthony say, you are more than welcome, OG. Appreciate you as well, Antonio. You already know. All right, CEO said, man, I'll be traveling there. So you headed down where? South America as well as Africa? It's pretty good. Pretty good. You going to say, CEO, nah, I'm South Africa. They don't bother the African Americans because we start businesses that help the community and make the logistics better. I wouldn't doubt that. And that sounds like something that, I think though, so what we see occurring, I think in South Africa has a lot to do with people coming there. Same thing we have in our communities here, people migrating, into, that country, that state in that country, that community, and extracting from it, taking from it, and not giving none back, not even helping the community to thrive, to bring anything sustainable to it, viable, and beneficial even. So that's a big difference, what you just described in South Africa, as opposed to, what we're seeing going on with, South Africans and others who they got issues with. So, same thing here in the United States, all these different demographics, they come and they get the money and they get it, disrespectfully, or however you want to call it. They take the money, it leaves the community, it never comes back annually or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's there. It's like, what is that? I almost want to call them like a leech, a parasite type of get down, you know what I mean? They're not symbiotic at all, you know what I mean? So you, and what you described is totally different. You go there to do business, but in the course of that, you're providing not just services and goods, but also an understanding in terms of in terms where those in community understand what you're doing and appreciate what you're doing. You're not just taking their shit and like, hey man, to hell with y'all, So yeah, you're coming starting a business, and that business is viable in the respect or the sense that is beneficial to them as well. Hell yeah. That only makes sense. You know what I mean? That only makes sense, especially to those who want to have a business. They'll check shit out and ask for advice, whatever. So that makes sense. In a lot of respects, though, when we're talking about what we see going on basically in the world today, man, it's totally different. It's the opposite of what you're describing. It's the opposite. So yeah, that may very well be the case down there, I'm going to look into that, but shit, take your word for it. I've never been to South Africa, to know that, you to say, hey, I've been there. Hey, that's a good look. We got Boss Claus, he's down in Costa Rica. He loves it there. He loves it there. You can't tell Boss Claus nothing about Costa Rica, you know what I mean? And he's a part of the community, and the community is part of him, you know what I mean? So shit, if need be, I stand corrected. Well, just let me say it like this. Everywhere is not bad, you know what I mean? But if you look at what, ain't no but, everywhere is not bad. The world is messed up, and in that respect, there's that possibility that what ails the world, or some people or some parts of the world, can spread, and affect other people. And let's keep in mind, let's put in the atmosphere that isn't the case, man, with a lot of locations, geographically speaking, where our people are welcome and want to live a better life, So there you go, bro. The Temple of Heru, thumb up the video. Appreciate that, bro. Yeah. Thumb up the video. I think I got somebody up in here. We're going to jump into that in a hot second. Trust. CEO said, yeah, man, it's the West. Yeah, the West is trying to recolonize Africa, no doubt about that. But the AES Alliance is the only beacon of light there. That is what is keeping that shit together. In fact, we just found out that man, they got people not even in the Sahel region, you know, the West like that, that's trying to join the AES. And it kind of makes sense. What strikes me is that it's almost as if they're joining for protection rather than joining and say, okay, I'm of this mindset, you know, first and foremost, hey, Europeans, get out, you know, leave our stuff alone. We're going to nationalize all our shit. It's time to go, you know. But it's more of, to me, hey, we want to join the AES because they're not getting established. They are established and they're doing damn well. They, you know, what's the word for it? They're impressionable to the point where they want people or other countries want to be a part of it, but I think for all the wrong reasons. You know, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, Chad is also a part of it now, and you know, there's a lot going on in the West. Governments are being overthrown. They're fighting right now, trying to get to the point where they can get rid of certain puppets in Western governments or powers so that they can go and join the AES. The AES, though, for its part, is very selective. You know, from what I learned and read, they're selective. Just because you say you want in doesn't mean that's, you know, there are things I think that they're waiting to see from these countries in terms of them initiating these things themselves, which was what I was just speaking on a minute ago. Don't look over here and see that's good, you know, and just come over here because, you know, you're going to be protected or whatever. Start your process, you know, show and prove, you know, show and tell. Then you get all the backing you need. You know what I mean? You know, what's that sister's name out of Barbados? I think it's Myra Moore. I think it's Myra Moore. Yeah, sister with the afro, little gap in her teeth. She's off one of the islands. She's trying to join the AES. And I'm like, how the hell are you going to do that? You're way over here. You know, I don't know how that works. But she speaks highly of them. You know, again, that's an example I think a lot of African countries are looking at, or those who aren't so far gone. Like, you know, there's some that are so far gone, you know, yeah, wouldn't make no sense allowing them to join unless you just overthrew the whole damn government. I mean, from the bottom up, for real. But yeah, man, the AES is that beacon of light over there, man. They're shining bright. The shit that they're doing, and I'm not even talking about, you know, them fighting the JNIM, ISIS, or Al Qaeda, you know, France, you know, by proxy, you know what I mean, US by proxy, you know, the EU by proxy, you know, that I ain't even talking about that. In terms of infrastructure, what they're developing, how they've been in hand, how they've taken control of their own resources and doing it in such a way where they take no money from the IMF or the World Bank. That's progress. Not only that, but they've paid off certain loans, you know, in the billions. Like, here, man, get this and get out of here. There'll be no excuse for you guys to be hanging around. You know what I mean? That's progress, man, that a lot of African countries never or will ever see. And that's in a matter of 3-4 years. You know, they're building infrastructure, roads, hospitals, you know, factories, manufacturing factories. They're taking care of themselves, man. Mining their own resources now. Not only that, but mining them as well as refining though and processing them. You can't beat that, man. That's a first, you know. That's some beautiful work, man, if you ask me. That's some beautiful work. See, you also said the West is sponsoring the terrorism in Africa, no doubt. Again, by proxy, France, United States, the EU, also the UK. Man, they are upset because, as you know, most of us should know, over there, they have everything especially these AI corporations need lithium, bauxite. They have gold, they have uranium, you name it, they got it. And these corporations, these countries need this shit to run or sustain their societies. So I think I had this discussion the other day with somebody. Before we know it, one of those, when they realized that the so-called terrorist advance or war or whatever is not working, won't work, they're going to come in. They're going to have to take the mask off and say, okay, make up an excuse. Probably not even say nothing to the United Nations, just give it to the United States since they're running roughshod over everything and everybody, and boom, go up in there. I hate to say that out loud, but that's what's going to happen because, again, you know, the so-called terrorists, they're really, even with the logistics that France gives them, United States gives them, sneak attacks and shit, they're outmatched. You know, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, they were actually, man, they're well trained, you know, they're well equipped. So they're going to need more than that to even try to, you know, destabilize what they've built so far. It ain't going to work just through them. They're going to have to take that mask off and go up in there themselves, and then the world will see. But I think, like, you know, we know, everybody already know what's happening. You know, they're waiting for something, you know, for us to take our focus off that before they even try, you know, to do really what they want to do. Some cold stuff, man. All right. By Foco Jones say, man, shout out from Houston. King Koyo, it's been a while, big homie. All right, much love to you and yours. Right back to you, by Foco Jones. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long while, but good to see you back, man. That's appreciated. You tapping in, coming hanging out with us all the way from Houston, Texas. We like to think everything is everything down there. You brothers and sisters on cold as well. And thinking about this group economic thing, you know, this wealth transfer thing, us doing for us now thing, you know, it's our time. It's our time from Houston, Texas, all the way back to California and all the way to New York State, the whole nine, man. It is our time. Appreciate your presence, bro. Chris said, man, TPS has ended the Haiti. TPS, what's TPS? I'm lost on that. TPS has ended for Haiti. Do you think this gives a green light for Black people to be approached? Are you talking about the immigration thing? Yeah. I don't know, but like most of us, well, we've heard, and most of what we've read in terms of we have what they would call, I think, national citizenship. The only thing I think that would give them any type of leeway in terms of getting us out of here, they would have to go and, you know, reconstruct or amend, you know, do something to the Constitution, put it like that. But we were just talking last week about that damn Constitution. I just think it's a piece of paper. You know, they don't really respect it. You know what I mean? Especially if others are trying to utilize it for their benefit, you know. I just think it's a piece of paper, man. And they might play the role, go through the motions, make like they're doing something to change shit so they can come and, you know, the Voting Rights Act is being attacked right now, right? And they're saying that's the gateway, the lead in to dismantling any rights we may have, you know, because all these other immigrants, especially, you know, Black immigrants, Haiti, you know, from all over South America who are Black, you know, they're upset that nothing is being done to us. Little do they realize that, man, hey, we've been here, you know what I mean? And I literally been here even before they were here, you know what I mean? Even as they say they brought some of us here, we were already here, you know? So that would be I don't know, man. I'm not going to say that's impossible. You know, that guy still got 2 years. he still got 2 years. And ain't no telling what rabbit he can pull out his hat in 2 years, you know. I don't know. But that's all the more reason, though, for us to start thinking about our future, for us to start really getting ours together so that in some respects we're prepared for whatever comes at us. You know, the worst thing we can do, and this is what we're known for sometimes, is reacting to shit once it's already upon us. That's one of our issues, man. We tend to not be prepared initially. You know, we don't think ahead, you know, and so many of us are brothers and sisters or who are thinkers, philosophers, man. I mean, grand thinkers, superior in terms of, you know, being visionaries, you know, thinking ahead. It's crazy to me that no one has, you know, thought of ways to go about bringing us not only together, but bringing us to a certain station or place in this society to where we become, if not just untouchable, period, point blank, very, very, very difficult to deal with. You know what I mean? If they think we're bad now, that we're, you know, we're unruly now, just imagine if our brothers and sisters put their minds to work and to where we, you know, they give us solutions to improve ourselves, empower ourselves, we'd be untouchable, man. We'd be untouchable. You know, so yeah, this is that time, man. You know, all these other minorities and immigrant type people are clamoring now, and you're starting to hear it from all of them. Why y'all not doing this to the black Americans? Well, why y'all not bothering them? Do you know at some point some of them politicians, Republicans and Democrats, gonna be in them back rooms say, okay, yeah, what are we gonna do? You know, how are we gonna appease some people? You know, I remember months back, Trump was saying anybody, he was tossing this around like it was shit, you know, the thing to do. He would say, hey man, even for black Americans, if they get caught a crime, we're gonna ship them out. That's what he was saying. You know, we're gonna ship them out to a prison in South America somewhere, you know. I didn't doubt it. I didn't take that as just, you know, banter, you know, him just saying some shit. That's some shit they've been discussing then, you know, because he's not no smart motherfucker like that. You know, I don't give nobody to say, I think he's dumb, you know, but he's reiterating, he's repeating what he's heard or what the discussions are, you know, and trust and know if they think they can get away with, let's say we have brothers committing crimes and they say, okay, we're gonna, you know, we have an agreement with El Salvador. We're gonna send you guys to El Salvador to do your time, you know, and what, lo and behold, get them over there, they can't get back, you know, and this is how they may go about trying to deport a lot of us. This is my take on it. But we as people got to start thinking out loud, especially amongst each other, so that when shit happens, you know, when it lands, it don't land with us, you know, it don't land on us unexpectedly. You know what I mean? We can be prepared to some extent for that shit. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. All right. Appreciate that, Chris. CEO said, man, what the South Africans are experiencing is the same thing we are experiencing as African Americans or Black Americans in our communities with Asians, Arabs, and Indians and Arabs. They take our money and it doesn't benefit us. That's what I was saying a minute ago. The same exact thing, actually, right? It's just over here was happening over here. It's happening over there, and they're fed up, and they get treated a certain way over there. You know, I've ran into them videos, man. These Asian people over there slapping on babies and choking kids, and just same behavior, man. Same behavior. You know, so yeah, shit. And then we over here, you know, and I'm like this. So we have what our people are now calling tethers, and those will be our brothers and sisters who migrate here, and, you know, who come here for better lives or whatever, you know, and then they have these attitudes with us, you know. This is what you see in South Africa as well. You know, this is how they're looking at the Nigerians and all those others who are going over there, you know, and this is what, you know, we see taking place here. So a lot of our brothers and sisters be like, hey man, y'all be acting funny, you know. Yeah, you know, I have to say I've met Africans here in the United States. I don't know what they say behind my back. You know, let me be honest, man. I don't know. But I know when we talk, you know, and they're my neighbors. They're very presentable. They're very respectful, you know, very respectful. So, you know, I would understand if they're my neighbors and we never spoke, right? Then that would give me an indication, oh, y'all tripping, you know. But yeah, I haven't experienced that, you know what I mean? Straight up. But that's the same mentality here, you know. So I don't know, man. I tend to think like this, man. Regardless, man, where in terms of the diaspora we come from, we're still brothers and sisters. You know, we're still that. We're still that. And then for all of those brothers and sisters here, those that call themselves Black Americans, FBAs or whatever, get one thing straight, man. That story didn't start here. You know what I mean? In other words, man, didn't start here, man. You know, even ancestrally, it didn't start here. You know, it didn't start here. You know, our people came from where they came from. A lot of people say, I ain't no damn African. You know, okay. You know, genetically, you know, you are. Yeah, you know, but that's, you know, I don't too much like playing that card or playing like that. I understand why a lot of us Black Americans or FBAs feel that way. There's always a way to deal with that, though. You know, I don't see how anybody figures someone migrating from somewhere else can stop a process, reparations, for instance, right? Stop someone who's been here for however long they've been here from receiving something they got owed to them, something that is due to them. I don't see how that works. You know, I think more than anything, the focus shouldn't be on them and what they are saying about what we should and should not get. They go for the Mexicans too, talking about what we shouldn't get if they don't get it first. You know, that kind of bullshit, you know. None of that chatter matters if the people who run everything ain't trying to be, you know, ain't trying to play ball in that respect. And that's where your issue is. That's where our focus should be, or that's who it should be on. You know what I mean? Just because somebody comes from over the water and they've been here maybe a generation or two and say, well, I want it too. And if I can't get it, they can get that shouldn't matter. That shouldn't matter. They can't stop nothing. You know, only ones that stopping something and doing something about this shit we're talking about in terms of reparations is the ones who got the power to pull the purse strings. That's where our focus should be, man. Everything else is just bullshit. You know, because if we pushed hard enough and it came to the point where they were going to give it to us, they would know exactly who to give it to. Trust to know that. You know, they would know. Them mugs would be able to go back way back to the 20s, you know, to turn of the century, you know, because wasn't nobody that wasn't already here to turn of the century trying to get here. Yeah, not in that climate. No, you know, only ones were Europeans. So, you know, they can discover who the hell was here. And if such a thing as reparations were being handed out, who would get them? There's no doubt about that. Not in my mind, at least. But yeah, man, I don't know. Yeah, that's what's going on, man. Our communities are being overrun, or not even overrun, but just taken advantage of. It could be here in the United States, or there in South Africa, you know. Not just South Africa, man. If you look at Africa and how the Chinese and Koreans even have invaded those countries and how they've taken over or trying to, yeah, it would, you know, it would be no surprise, man, that, you know, I think that's their get at. That's the way they think. And then I think that they're racist. I think they have issues with us. You know, I just do. Anyway, appreciate that comment, bro. You going to say, yep, they're in talks with Guinea-Bissau. They also overthrew a puppet and want to join the AES. Senegal is having a power struggle. Senegal, I'm surprised they still. I I think it was a couple of months ago. Something took place in Senegal, and I was like, "Oh, they finna, yeah, it's on. They finna get rid of this puppet. They're gonna join the AES." And I think one of them European countries, maybe even the US, went in there and they flipped some shit. And the next thing I knew, it calmed down, and the person that was in question was cool. I'm like, damn, how that happened? You know, how the hell they rose up a week later? It was squashed. It was, you know, and I think that was Senegal. There's a couple of Togo, um, um, the Ivory Coast. You know, there's like 3 or 4 of them. 1 minute it looks like the people finna take over, and the next thing you know, boom, it get squashed. It get crushed. And what is being alleged is that Western countries come in with weapons and shit to help them to take back control. You know how true? Allegedly. All right. Allegedly. Yeah, but hey, man, Guinea-Bissau is in there, huh? Okay, so Senegal is having a power struggle of a puppet in place versus the prime minister, who is for sovereignty. In other words, he want to get the French out of there, and the puppet's like, no, let them stay, man. They're friends. Dumb fuck. CO said, man, us as African Americans have to move one band, one sound. We have to continue this boycott and wealth transfer. Get the Asians out and the Indians, and the Arabs are next. Glad you said that. I appreciate you mentioning that, CEO. What about Mexicans? Do they fit the bill? You know what I mean? Do they fall into this category of a demographic who do not respect us? They get our dollars, but don't respect us. You know, are they racist just as much as the Asians are? The Indians, most definitely, the Arabs also, and all of them. Just period. Let's see if we agree on all of them. Does it make sense to be all encompassing, all inclusive of all those demographics? Same way we're dealing with the Asians. Doesn't it make sense to be that way with all of them? You know, I've been asking myself, I've been speaking on this for over a week now. I think that makes sense. You know, I think that makes sense. We're no good to any of them unless we're crashing out for them, unless we're doing something that would benefit them. That's the only time we're any good to them. And even then, they're disrespectful, you know, and racist towards us, even then, you know. So I don't know. I think it should be all inclusive. I think that every one of them that acts the way they act towards us, we ought not pay attention to what we already know what it is. Let's go about our business. But let's treat them all the same. Let's treat them all the same. That's just my take on it. Let me know what you think on that, man. All right. But yeah, I agree, man. The Asians, get them out. The Indians and the Arabs should be next, and everybody else. But we do need to unite with our people globally. America is afraid of that. I'm going to tell you, it starts here, man. And a lot of us not going to get that because, again, so let's keep in mind also, as far as Black Americans go, African Americans, FB, whatever you want to call yourselves, we have been indoctrinated too, you know, to think a certain way, to look at shit just a certain way. We have the divide and rule, divide and conquer tactic has been used against us or on us worse than anyone else. You know what I mean? So I'm saying that to say a lot of us don't even see them as our people. And that's scary. You know what I mean? A lot of them don't even acknowledge them as our people. A lot of them don't acknowledge us as our people. But we always hear the contradiction, like, no, that's not true. We know y'all are brothers, distant brothers and sisters. You know, a lot of us say, yeah, we know where we come from. We know where the homeland is, you know. But because of this divide and conquer, especially here amongst us, you can't get a lot of brothers to be like, hey, man, we're going to get together and we're going to join with our brothers across the water. Like, man, what the fuck you talking about? What do you mean? Man, I'm not fucking with none of them. They think, you know, they call them African booty scratchers and spear chunkers and shit like that. You know, I don't know, man. But I think that if that is to happen, should that happen, it would only occur when we here get it together. I think we're the catalyst. We are the catalyst to this, to all this shit. I think that, you know, I think that. And without us, there's nothing. Nothing will be accomplished. Nothing will be gained. That's just my take on it. You know what I mean? But I think it all starts with us here in the United States. And this is why it's so important for us to come together here. For us, brothers, for the brothers and sisters, black men and women, kings and queens, come together here first. Because see, when that changes this country. See, and a lot of people don't understand that. But the world go the way this country goes. You know what I mean? And we could talk about ethnicity, demographics, or whatever. You know, whatever we do, most people follow it anyway, right? Whatever the United States does, the corporation, most other countries follow it, right? That's the point I'm trying to make. I hope I made a point there. What we do, others will mimic and follow. They'll want to be a part of. That's what I'm saying. But if we go about doing this thing the way we're supposed to, and we're sincere about it, we're genuine about this change, you know what I mean? Then that will be the end result of, you know, the same mindset and feeling of those of our brothers and sisters across the water. But it will start here first. It has to. It has to. It's either going to start here or end here. You know what I mean? We want it to start here so that it doesn't end. You know what I mean? If we don't get it together, it will end. And it ain't going to be a good look. It's not going to be a good look because we're in those times where technology and the corporation is actually dictating everything. There's still a window, I think, for us to get it together and change first ourselves so we can change this situation we're in. And as a result, we'll change the world. I've been saying this for months and months and months, and others have been saying it as well. I think this is what we miss, though, our people. In order for this shit to change, not just for us, but the world, we're going to be the ones to do it. You know, and everybody's always talking about God's people. I'm not religious, everybody, so you already know that, but I'll say it. We're always talking about God's people, the chosen people. You know, I'm more of a spiritual brother. I get that, right? If that's the case, then I think for those of you who look at it like that, you have to understand, accept then that you have been given an assignment. you know, you're on a mission, but damn, a lot of y'all don't even know you're on a mission. You know, a lot of y'all waiting for someone to come out of nowhere, poof, and change everything. It's not going to work like that. And if you're about it like that, then that's going to be from within. That's how that thing gets put into effect. The God within is going to go to work. It's going to change everything. That's all I'm saying. Respectfully. There ain't nobody going to, descend from the skies with, blonde hair, pale face with halo and, robe and arms stretched out over the world, nah, that ain't how it's going to happen. That's going to happen from within, So we get it together here. I bet you we change the world. We'll change this country first. And when, again, we're not doing it to, we don't give a fine flick about none of them, but we're going to change, how we live. And as a result, the world's going to change. Guarantee you. All right. I'm talking enough about that. America, the government, the corporation is afraid of us uniting with our people. Chris say, but if you're black, an ICE officer can you and ask you for ID to see if you're from Haiti. Yeah, and see, but that's the cold part about it. And so this is how we come in contact with, and they know, and we talked about this, Chris. They know what they're doing, and all this is being done to incite us. You know, straight up, man. It's all being done to incite us. Now, okay, what's the solution? If I was approached by ICE and, hey, man, let me see your ID. You know, first thing, man, hey, man, have I broken a crime? With, I got to show you my ID. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? I'm going to go do that first. And if I see some type of escalation, I got to be okay, man. But I think all this shit is part of that plan, that scheme, that plot. Yeah, man, anything with melanin and that they can interpret as being, you can be black, but they can say, well, Jamaica, all the islands, and hey, Haiti, let me see ID. Are you Americans? And black people who are really black people gonna get offended. What does that bring? Conflict now. And at some point, this shit's gonna happen, man. It's I think I was watching a sister. She was talking about, hey y'all, we see. Matter of fact, I got the clip. Let me run this clip, you guys, right quick, and let's see if she, how she's expressing it, whether or not it's what I'm talking about. Where's that clip at? No, not that one. Hold on. I got it in there somewhere. One second, y'all. No. Found her. All right, let me play this. And you got to get the gist of what she's saying. I think I do anyway, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you will also. Wait a minute. There she go. All right, now check this out. All right, check this out.
And if the Black Power fist,
child, the ancestor says, sit down. And just like that, Black folks sat down. We listened. And I need us to hold on to that. Because this season this country is in, baby, Black folks got to get out the way and let it do what it do. Because we've been holding up the veil for a long time. And now it's falling. And can you imagine? Yeah. Imagine what it would look like if we were out there right now, protesting, fighting for democracy, putting our bodies on the line again. Baby, you already know. This would have been Bloody Sunday, Part 2. Child, the assignment was not to save this moment. Yeah, no. This country needed to be exposed. Our assignment was to rest and get out the damn way. And until we hear otherwise, set your asses down. Because let me remind you, rest is resistance. Rest means finding the joy in the middle of this mess. Rest means finding ways to resist that don't require our bodies to be sacrificed again. Rest means finally choosing our families, our communities, and our spirit first this time. And baby, it's not because we don't care. Well, some of us don't. But because we care enough not to keep bleeding for a system that refuses to change. Baby, we're not disengaged. We're obedient. We're listening to the ancestors this time. We're watching and we're resting on purpose. And that's on Harry. All right, good people. Drink your water. Stay rooted, real, and knowledgeable. and mind your Black business. Happy Black History 365. And I'll see you next time. Child, the ancestor says, sit down.
She said 365. Happy Black History every day. All right. So to me, that's like, we know ICE is out there, right? We know. And if we got any damn sense, we know that their instruction, their protocol to be, if they see a Black person, man, just milling about, hanging about, laudering, whatever, man, harassing her, you know, hey, let me see ID, you know, this is what they're doing. I mean, then you're not really listening or paying attention to what the fucking atmosphere is. You know what I'm saying? Supposed to be all the way out the way. You know, word come on, hey man, ICE, you know, they was over here. I seen them this morning, Brothers, get out the way. Get the hell out the way. You know? Because if you don't, then you setting yourself in a position, or putting yourself in a position where they can pull right up on you. I've seen the videos, brothers walking, you know, now I can't tell whether they Haitian, Jamaican, or what, you know, brother look like my brothers, you know what I mean? They get out and they walk until they chase them, whatever, till they catch them. Now it's the rough up part, you know what I mean? Hey, what your idea? You know, my point is this, man. We know what's happening. Get the fuck out the way. Get out the way, man. Because that's how they coming. That's how they playing ball. If we lay back, rested, then that's not fitting. That doesn't help their program. You know what I mean? So yeah, they're out here, I think, harassing Black Americans, African Americans, FBA on purpose. They want to make us restless. They want us in the streets. That's what I think. They want us in the streets. You know, not only them, everybody else. They want us involved in this bullshit. And I'm telling y'all, we ain't got time for it. That's just me. We got our own issues, our own fish to fry. And it's high time we focused on us. You know, Black first. You know, Black first, man. Okay, whatever that issue is, I ain't got no concern with that, man. Hey, that's ICE after you. And I know ICE looking for you. I'm gonna be out the fucking way. That's just it. I'm gonna be out the way. You have no reason, you know what I mean? Come look at me. You know what I mean? And you see they going at the birthright citizenship. He just appealed that shit. You know, SCOTUS told him the other day, nah, he can't do it. He just appealed it again. Well, not again, but he appealed it. I see what he's after. I see what he's after. That won't just affect Mexicans, you know, Hispanics, you know what I mean? That would also affect young Black Belizeans, Jamaicans, whatever. And a lot of which are in gangs and shit. You know what I'm saying? They in these streets. They do what they do. They know this shit. They going after man, they want the whole kit and caboodle. I just see them going at it like that. So they're not going to give up till they get that to some extent weakened. If they can weaken that, they coming, man. They're coming, you know. And that's why I say, man, for us, those who know better know what the real situation is, we supposed to be, all right, man, we see this shit. We thinking ahead. We doing like them. We know we're our own self think tanks. You know what I mean? You know. So we got, you know, the vision. We were foreseeing some shit like, oh, it would be smart for us to get our shit together. While we out the way, we sitting this out. We supposed to be getting our shit together. You know, and being prepared for whatever comes at us, man. You know, knowing how to see some shit and knowing how to deal with it to make sure we stay in the game. You know, our brothers, you know, Jersey, DC, and Maryland, you know, getting pulled over and getting, you know, harassed about ID and shit. Hey, man, y'all playing yourself. You know, again, that Constitution don't mean shit. It don't mean nothing. You know, and the coldest part about it, they got the information on every illegal. They got it. They know who here, man. They ain't supposed to be here. They know. You know what I mean? They got pictures of these mugs and everything, man. So them pulling up on regular brothers, African Americans, Black Americans, is this their way of saying, man, we're going to fuck with y'all anyway, you know, because we can. We want to get y'all started. I'm saying, be careful, man. That's all I'm saying. Invariability, man. Invariability. That's the word for the day. That's what I'm saying, though. But you dead on point, CEO. You on point with that one. You as well, Chris. That was your question, actually. Rakufa said, peace to the RGC family. We made another week together, and hopefully we all are well. Word for today is invariability. Invariability. All right. The quality or state of remaining constant, unchanged, or consistent under all conditions. The absence of variation or fluctuation. That is the meaning of invariability. All right. Invariability. I know the word. All right. The quality state of remaining constant, unchanged, or consistent under all conditions. The absence of variation or fluctuation. All right. Her invariability and honesty earned everyone's trust. Invariability. Invariability. Invariability, excuse me. All right, I got you though, Rakufu. Say, Bub, did you check the text message I sent you about the statistics of races in America, etc.? No, honestly, I got it. I don't know. I also, just so you guys know, I had to get a new phone also yesterday, so I've been trying to, send all my shit over to the phone, all my contacts and everything, So, initially around that time, Rakufu, all I had was numbers, and I can go in, and touch the text and probably, okay, that's so-and-so, but I had to wait for it all to download. I will check it out today. And, I'll check it out. And if it's some heat, like, you pushing that, we might, hey, it's okay. We'll talk about it Monday. But I will check that out, bro. Know that. CEO said, man, I just came back. I just heard your response to me talking about the Mexicans. But yes, the Mexicans too. I love Mexican food. Me too, bro. But if they don't patronize with us, then we shouldn't with them either. But not only that, not only do they not spend their money with us, they're very disrespectful. They're very racist. A lot of them, they actually, attempt, just like the Asians, they attempt to attack our people too. Let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100. I'm an advocate of no strategic alliances or alliances, solidarity with people who do not respect us, who are racist against us, who hate us, speak ill of us. I don't believe in solidarity with them type of people. This shit got problems with having solidarity amongst my own. What the hell would I look, or how would I look to have, be in solidarity with somebody that don't respect me or my people? Yeah. No, not good. Not a good look. But yeah, I'm with that. I'm with that just like that. And again, this ain't got nothing to do with, being angry or hateful. No, man, this got to do with loving me and my kind, our people. Okay, let's do for us. And that ain't racist. I mean, if it is, then they more racist than any of us, right? We ain't even got to point the finger. It speaks for themselves, or it speaks for itself. Mexicans, Asians, Indians, Arabs, the Ashkenazi Europeans, and the European Caucasian, all of them, they all in the same boat. They're all in the same boat when it comes to black people, man. And we tend to turn a blind eye. You know what I mean? We look at shit through their lens. And that is, I'm telling you, man, that's a blinder. No, stop looking at shit like that. Take the blinders off and call it what it is, So if we're going to do that to the Asians, we're supposed to do that to each and every demographic or ethnicity that does that to us. You know what I mean? No ifs, ands, and buts about it. Straight up. No one gets a pass. No one gets a pass. And if we're going to promote that like that, then we should promote it correctly. Okay, we're telling our brothers and sisters to be on code. Okay, so listen then. I found in this area, this black beautician, this nail shop, this product shop, this barbecue place, this fish fry place, they cook Asian food there and Mexican food, man. And here are the locations. You know what I mean? I tell myself that, okay, this is what I got to do. I'm going to be speaking on that shit. Next time, hey, I got to, hey, here you go, man. Here these addresses. This why people get down at. You know, that's the way it should be. And hey, man, again, we're not thinking about them. We got to do our thing. We got to be one. We have to be about black first. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, I'm in the same boat with you on that, man. But see, here's the thing. And that's a great point, grand point you have. But the Mexicans have a big community, so their own people will keep them afloat. Listen, that again, what a lot of us don't really realize is our buying power. A lot of us don't see that shit. You know what I mean? Now, again, we're in a climate where a lot of Mexicans or illegal immigrants are starting to think Trump is slacking up, but he's not. You know, that shit is still in play. In fact, it's going to be ramped up pretty soon. Pretty soon. My point is this: we have buying power no one else has. So some of that, what keeps them up and running, comes from us. If we're spending over $2 trillion in consumer goods every year, they will be impacted just like everybody else. Trust that. They will be impacted like everybody else. And then you combine that fact with the fact that a lot of them have to keep ducking and dodging. You know, ICE be hitting and missing. You know what I mean? So there's that. You know, don't let it get to where the government start doing the books on a lot of these, you know, these contractors. You know, yeah, that shit ain't gonna last long. But in any respect, we, no matter how you look at it or how we want to look at it, we are the #1 spending block in this country, hands down. And all of them get a piece. Look at what we're doing, and we're on the low end with the Asians, and look how it's affecting them. That's just their shops and shit. You know, it's just their shops. You know, their little, you know, that's just, you know, the same would affect anybody else. Trust and know that. The same would affect anybody else. Our people, if they were mindful of where they spend their dollars, if it was a Mexican-owned place, an Asian-owned place, an Ashkenazi, Europeans place, Indian, you know, Arab, you know what I mean, Caucasian, they would all feel it. And I don't mean a pinch. No. It's going to be more like a gash, like, oh shit, I'm bleeding out. You know what I mean? That's how that's going to happen, bro. So yeah, they might have numbers like that. But again, a lot of them are living, or, you know, they make ends meet based upon money we spend with them too. Just think about that. Real spit, man. So yeah, you know, I think though, regardless, you know what I mean? Don't give them our money. They don't give us none of theirs. They don't spend with us, you know, and that's smart, right? Keep it amongst themselves. That money won't last with them because, you know, also they go and spend with other demographics. They do the same shit too. So, you know, they'll be affected. Just all of them would be. All right, Frank Nitty, what it do? Salute right back to you, bro. I see you. You say that's why they let Trump and Bush rig the elections and win to get conservative judges. People Obama and Clinton didn't appoint Harley and judges it rigged. didn't. Well, I get what you mean though. Yeah, Obama. Listen, man, because he got same skin don't make him kin. All right, let's be. Come on, y'all. I tend not to even want to talk about the shit he did, man. The shit he did. And I'm gonna tell you one of the worst things he did. Fuck that. Him taking out, him having something to do with Gaddafi. Y'all know why he did that? Or they did that to him? That man had an agenda, Gaddafi. That man told the United States, hey, I'm gonna take care of, he was gonna give us reparations. Hell no, you not. You ain't giving our ninjas nothing. We ain't giving it to him. How the hell you think we're gonna let you give it to him? He said, well, we're gonna create our own dollar backed by gold in Africa, one currency. Oh no, you're not. The fuck you think you gonna get rid of the American dollar? Man, shit. That man had free healthcare, free education, housing. Look, man, what you see about Libya now in the last 10 years was not the Libya that he was running a decade ago. Straight up. Obama is one of the coldest presidents the country has had. He'd make his shit look good. They just make it look good. See, they needed us to make all that shit look good, like he done something for us. One of the things that he did that pissed me the hell off was he's trying to lecture brothers about their vote and voting for Trump. And sucker, you didn't do nothing. You had an opportunity to put us in a better light, and you did jack. Like most black politicians, they'll tell you, well, I'm not doing nothing for the black people if I can't do it for everybody. Then what good are you to us? What good are you to us? Yeah, man. Give a damn about Obama. Didn't do jack for us. Hurt us more than he helped us. All this shit about healthcare, that what he did, man, that's some crap. Ain't shit. One shit. Yeah, he's a dirty piece of shit, man. I wasn't won over. Preparation is key, Chris. You never lie, man. Never lie. What it do, Raymond Skull? Peace, bro. Peace. You and the Rays and your family, bro. Good to see you hanging out. Sit tapping in, bud. Peace, blessings. You, bro. Love and respect to the RGC, along with all of our families. Yes, sir. Fat Rat, I see you, loved one. I see you. You say peace to you and RGC, Big Bub. The Mexicans have lost their connection to their origin. Us, bro. And I tend not to get into that conversation, right? Because you can't even tell black people who them people are. You just can't. And they got a double dose of us. Tell you the truth, if you really think about it. Now, yeah, the Spaniards came over and did what they did. But see, mind you, the Spaniards were conquered by the Moors for damn near 1,000 years. So that's why they call Spaniard. They got that swarthy look. Motherfuckers don't even get it. They got double. You know what I mean? They had Spanish, European, Spanish came over, but they had black blood in them too. But you can't tell them nothing. And I'm past that, bro. I don't even talk to them about Jack, because they swear them down. They original. I'm like, all right, more power to you. They told, somebody said a few days ago in some comment that they said they saved blacks in times of slavery and left out the part that, if it wasn't for blacks, y'all would have got y'all's ass whooped by, the French War, you fight for the Mexican Revolution. You know what I mean? Come on, man. You don't even tell the whole story. You try to make like y'all did. Hey, wait a minute. That was a quid pro quo right there. If it wasn't from our people, man, the Europeans would have mopped y'all. Would have mopped you. It wouldn't be no Mexico. Now, leave that conversation alone, man. You can't tell them nothing. Only one I listen to there's just one essay dude, man. I don't think he's Mexican though. I think he's Hispanic. And you guys probably know about him, man. This dude, he spit fire, and he let him know. He give him history. That's what he do. I give him that. But I mean, you know, I watch his shit. I haven't subscribed to it or nothing, but I watch his shit. Anytime I see him pop up in my feed, boom, I'll go in and play him, let him talk. And you know what? He got more Mexicans in there hating him than anybody. You know, truth hurts sometimes. So anyway, yeah, bro, you never lie, Fat Rat. The Mexicans have lost their connection to their origin. Us, bro. She has her P's. She say, drop the link. Let me talk to you. And my wife see that thing. Well, what the hell? No, my wife be like, hey, man, what the fuck? Yeah. Drop the link. Let me talk to you. Well, I dropped the link up in there. If you go to the top, you see that link right there? That's for the crowdfunder. That's for TJ Hamilton. Again, you guys, this young brother, he has a film thesis he has to do. It costs money to do it. This is for his passing grade. He's going to create and make a short film. He's asking for donations. That right there is the link to that. Go and check it out, man. Check out the link, man. Look at what he's done because it's up there. You can watch it. You can read about him and get an understanding on what he's doing, what he's attempting to accomplish. You guys' help and support would mean a great deal. I'm pretty sure to him as well as us, you know, the family. You know what I mean? We're doing what we're going to do. But yeah, we're putting that out there because this is a big project. It's huge. So, you know, any help in that regard, man, would be appreciated. I'm pretty sure. Go check that link out, your guys. That's about maybe the third time, fourth time I put this link here. You know, show some love, man, and some support. You know, it would be greatly appreciated. Real spit. Okay, now let me get back to this sister. She ate her peas, I think. Yeah, she has her peas. Drop the link. Let me talk to you. Yeah, my wife crazy. You did not play. All right. I don't know what you mean, sister. I don't know what you mean. She has her peas, you know. Anyway, Frank Nitty said, man, Obama was there for symbolism. It was all a ploy, man, you know. And you know what? You have to. I agree. And it placated us. Think about that. And they let him get 8 years. You know, it placated us and a lot of other people, you know. And the whole time they were behind the scenes preparing for Biden and all the shit he did. You know, that bastard had the audacity to say, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. And then try to explain it away, or other people did. Try to explain what he meant. No, man, he said what he meant. Most people don't do their homework on politicians. I've been knew about Biden when he was in the 70s. Staunch racist. Oh, yeah, I know that. Oh, yeah. Oh, he was a segregationist in the 70s. The Clintons were too. Hillary was a WASP. Yeah, man, people don't do their homework. You know, people don't do their homework, you know. But yeah, they were just setting it up for Biden to come along and then make it look like him and Trump had this thing going on where they can't stand each other. Sleepy Joe, he's a terrible predator. Oh, they doing, man. That's all script, man. That's all script. That's all script, man. Every bit of it. All them guys on the same team. Every one of them knew Jeffrey Epstein and hung with him, everything else, man. All them dudes on the same squad, man. They work from the same playbook. It's real spit, man. I don't trust none of them. Nothing they say they've done that's beneficial to anybody, because it's not. None of what they done is any good. Straight up. Frank Nitty going to say, man, gold dinar, he was making the currency. They wasn't having that, bro. That would have, look, the American dollar is already really fragile. Most people don't even know that. You know, you call it petrodollar, whatever you want to call it. That thing is hanging on tooth and nail. I mean, that thing is doing very bad. It's doing bad. It ain't, you know, it's dominant. But if somebody get like Like for instance, if BRICS was serious, and again, that's just part of the game. If BRICS was serious, they could do major damage to the dollar. Major, that's serious. If China was serious, it could do major, the yen could do major damage to the dollar. The dollar's actually really weak. What Gaddafi was doing, it wouldn't have just did major damage. It would have destroyed American currency. In fact, it would have changed the whole landscape in terms of currency. That's what it would have did. It rewrote all the rules, bro. That's why they killed that brother, man. And not only that, to boot, how his altruism, how he dealt with people. You know what I mean? To say what you want. And then, you know how they do it. Anytime they hate somebody, they always give you this propaganda. They give you these false narratives about people. They got one of the best what they call them. It's pretty much like, they could, make up some shit on you and it'll stick. Not Media Machine, but it's some shit, man. They make up something on you and it will stick. Make you look like a bad guy, like you've been a bad guy since you came out your mama's womb. They could paint that picture, man. But they made him out to be a bad guy. Oh, he sponsors terrorism. Pot calling the kettle black. And nobody has sense enough to say, wait a minute, y'all the biggest, worst terrorists on the planet. Nobody paid no attention to that shit, And once they realize they can knock him down, create some, again, propaganda about him and knock him down, wasn't gonna be no drawback, no flat. Wasn't gonna be nothing they had to worry about. Not what they did. He was gonna change Africa first. And as a result, just imagine, man, what it's gonna do with the rest of the world. Because what choice would they have? It would have had that follow. That's how strong that shit was that he was trying to create. Cold shit, man. Cold shit. Farah said, teach on Gaddafi. We had no greater international friend in the liberation struggle. It was real, bub. He had the game plan and the resources to go for ourselves. And this enemy used cigarettes, berry too. All right. And this enemy used cigarettes, berry. Yes, got you. Cigarettes, berry to kill not only Gaddafi, but the hopes and aspirations of our goal, our global separation agenda. OCB, man, cold peace. And like I said, man, most of us our women were swooned. You couldn't tell them shit. Brothers were like, oh man, yeah, black man. Oh man, this dude's a puppet. He's one of them. You couldn't tell them that. Straight up. That man did that to that dude, man. And they sat and watched it in the Situation Room. They watched him be unalive, like they did with Saddam Hussein. Man, made him a bad guy. Y'all do y'all research, man. They wasn't that like they say, man. Nah, they was only that because the Ashkenazi Europeans said they were. Same thing with short mustache dude out of Germany. It wasn't what they said, man. Anytime there's a threat to what the system is in terms of how they win and stay in control, stay rich, control everything, they're gonna find a way, man, to do, dismantle whoever, whatever that is, stay in power. I don't know. But yeah, that's some cold spit, man. That was some cold shit. Teach on Gaddafi. We had no greater international friend in the liberation struggle. It was real, bub. We had the game plan and the resources to go for ourselves. And this enemy used cigarette berry to kill not only Gaddafi, but the hopes and aspirations of our global separation agenda. And I'm telling y'all, they need us. We don't need them. They need us. If we separate from them, that they are done. They need us. Appreciate that, Fat Rat. I love when you come in the game, boy. Frank Nady said Ricardo. Oh, man, he making the currency. What do you mean by that, Ricardo? All right, Bub, they're as proud of Spanish as we are of English, right? Yeah, I hear you, bro. Them Pete Mendes, I hear you. Yes, sir. I've seen them with the conquistador tattoos on their backs, with the helmets, the whole nine. I've seen that, and I'm sure you have too. I've seen that, bro. And even back then, this was in the 80s. All right. I'm in Soledad Central, you know, and I'm getting, you know, G homies feed me all kind of literature, right? And I don't know what it was. I just knew that was wrong. And I asked one of the homies, and he told, oh, conquistador, you know, and boom, I ended up getting a book, you know, with the drawings in it, the black and white drawings and shit. About that thing, I forget the name of the book. And I said, how the hell would he do that? But he wasn't the only one. There was quite a few of them. Proud of their Spanish forefathers. Wowed. Oh, Ricardo be spitting truth. Okay. All right, bro. And yeah, Biden was a Dixiecrat and down with the Strom Thurmond. A lot of people don't even know who Strom Thurmond was. Cold cracker, wasn't he? And was up there in them politics. And you see how many black, and that's why I say Democrats, that don't mean shit, man. These people just suckers. But was, you know, oh, I wrote a bill with Strom and we would set together and yeah, you know, he's my friend. And I said, oh, you nook. NOOC, spell it backwards. But yeah, hey man, that dude's a cold piece, but there are a whole lot of them that's still in there. You know, Lindsey Graham, he's another one, you know, but you know, some of the coldest shit, man. We tend to label, we see them as, look, man, they not even really like that racist or nothing, man. They're just on a different team that promote that shit for their benefit, you know. That's what I think. They can give a flying flick, you know. But this is what they push, and people begin to give a flying flick about color and race. Those people up there, they don't really care about that shit. See, a lot of us miss this, that they don't care what complexion you are. You know, you're in their system. That's all that matters. They're going to eat off you just like they would anybody else, you know. Now, there's a lot being made about the melanated persuasion and what other uses can be gotten from us. You know what I mean? And so they looking into that. They researching it. But that doesn't stop the fact that anybody that's the non-melanated, pink people, clear people, y'all fair game too. You're still in the same system, you know? It's cold game, but it is what it is. Robert Byrd, that bastard. Frank Nitty got some history up in him, man. Robert Byrd, I ain't forgot him either, man. Tell you the truth. Raymond Scholes said, man, it is said that the seat of president stays the same. Each president is given a script to carry out while in office, no doubt. No doubt. You know, and they call it the halls of power, but that's really not, that's just, you know, something that's said. They're really not, they're all figureheads in terms of, you know, power, making decisions, governance. They don't run nothing. You know, like you said, them scripts are already written out for all of them. For all of them, you know. And the people who really running this shit, we'll never see their face in a newspaper. You know, they don't go and hobnob with Jeffrey Epstein. That's beneath them. They got their own shit. In fact, Jeffrey couldn't even go to their shit. You know what I mean? They had his ass on the platter. You know, but yeah, that's how serious and deep that shit is. We be lost, or our people be lost in the sauce. Senate crime bill becomes 3 strikes law, signed by Bill Clinton. All right, 30 years protracted war to destabilize the black family, and we were screaming, "Go Democrats, go!" You know, like we were at a Dodger or a Lakers game, right? We cheering. Get out of here with that BS. That's the truth, bro. In fact, right, telling you, FRATERNITY, right, bro? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, y'all. We look, man, this shit that we're in it. And I say this, and I say this unapologetically, but I say it in all sincerity. I'm being real about it. It is like this because we are allowing it. We are allowing it. That's you know, there's no other way to put that shit, man. We are allowing this shit. And I'm not saying that to say, hey, man, let's mount up. Let's go. That ain't what I'm saying. There's more ways to skin a cat. There's more ways than one to skin a cat, you know? You know what I mean? Spook set by the door, man. That was a grand idea, you know, but it's different aspects, perspectives that could be applied to that. You know what I mean? Just so many. We allowing this shit. You know? We are allowing it. And that's from the treatment that we receive from other people all the way down to what we see taking place in our own communities with each other. We are allowing this shit. We got to get that in our heads. We are the people that's going to change everything. And I'm telling y'all, again, I'm not religious, but I comprehend some shit, you know, differently. Just, you know, we have a purpose here. You know, there's no other way for me to express that, right? Without sounding, you know, we have a purpose here. And we're not fulfilling that plan. You know what I mean? Again, nothing's gonna come out of the sky. It's just not. Not in, you know, not in human form anyway. You know what I mean? None's gonna descend down on a cloud and shit, you know. There's no golden streets and shit, pearly gates and all that type of shit. Not in that respect or perspective. You know what I mean? It's just not. But all that is within. You know what I mean? When we say the God gene, or when I express it, at least, I know what I know what I'm saying. Might not know what I'm talking about most of the time, but I know what I'm saying. We have been gifted. I'll use blessed to please some of you with something no one else was blessed enough to receive. You know, was looked upon as worthy to receive, man. We're not fulfilling our destiny, you know, our reason for being. And that's on us. That ain't on nobody else, man. That's just all. That's what I got to say about that. When we see the things we see, we all have, I think, and especially when they're wrong, we all have this visceral reaction. There's some on the inside that hits you in the gut. You feel it. You feel it. Like this some bullshit. Hey, man, that means something. That's that you know, that's that God in you. You know, telling you that's some, hey, that's wrong. You know, but anyway, you know, FRATERNITY said, my bad, is that the Hispanic cat you said you listen to sometime? Ricardo. Yeah, I don't know. Is that his name? I think it might be. Okay, got you, bro. That might be him. I can look it up right quick. But yeah, I think that's him. Yeah, little Hispanic dude, man. You know what I mean? And I tell you what, I'm pretty sure though none of them want to fuck with him. You know, I'm pretty sure of that, you know. But he shoot truth to power, man. And you gotta love it. You gotta love it, man. He puts it out there and it's uncut. It's uncut. And if you don't believe him or take his word for it, he got graphs for you. You know, he give them something to look at if they can't read. You know what I mean? Let that picture, paint the picture for them. You know, that's what he do. Gotta like him. You gotta respect him for that. CEO say Latinos love themselves a conquistador. Yeah, they do anything for the white man because of that caste system that the Spanish set up in Latin America to try to be as white as possible for acceptance. And you see that to this day. Cleansing, the cleansing of a lot of South American countries. Argentina was what that was the word I wanted earlier. Cleansing. Argentina did such a job. Again, all you got to do is go back and look. They have historical photographs and film even of Argentina and documents that says outright they wanted a white Argentina. Hispanic. You know what the word means, you know what I'm talking about. And that's a lot of South American countries now, because when you go in these countries, melanated people are way up in the hills of the mountains, or they're behind, we don't see them. And they get treated same way a lot of us do. All right. By their own people. I don't know if I call them their own people, but that's just what it is. FRATERNITY says Strom Thurmond had a baby by a black woman. He was a segregationist. Yeah, and it makes me okay. Was that grape? Did he grape her? Because it sometimes fucks with me when I see our sisters who are involved with these people. And I'm always saying, trying to defend it. Nah, man, that's something else, man. She's under his spell, or she's in fear. They're gonna do something to her family. Yeah, and it's sad that most of the time I always get proven wrong. I get proved wrong. And just what a lot. And our brothers are the same. We got brothers the same way. How could you just willingly? It reminds you, makes you think about Jefferson, right? And the lady, all those children just became accustomed to it. Like, all right, cool. You want to take care of me? Okay. Sad shit. Frank needs to say, man, favorite great. That crying game was cold. That crime game, yeah. That 3 strike shit. We mad comfortable in this system. That's the problem. Well, we're waking up now, right? Not as fast as we should, because I'm telling you, there's a whole lot of work to do. But we're waking up now. We've been lulled to sleep, man, for so long, since the 60s, the late 60s and early 70s. They've been rocking the cradle, putting us to sleep, man. They knocked down our revolutionary brothers and sisters, man. And once they did that, they say, okay, we can put them to sleep now. We're gonna give them pacifiers. We're gonna give them all pacifiers. Put them to sleep. We don't want them crying and angry about nothing. We're gonna put them to sleep. We've been asleep for some decades. Waking up now, though. I think so. Farrah said, man, indoctrination is the new crack cocaine. Indoctrination is the new crack cocaine, bub. I see dead people, bro. Not that I count them out, but they are not on count with our liberation. All right. The YT man, the YT man's job, get him detached. Excuse me. The YT man's job got him detached. Until the enemy knocks on their door, then it's about what we need to do. Indoctrination. And what about, okay, and yeah, that's so true though, Ferrat. It is that. It is that. What about social media? What about cell phone? What about technology? How does that play into this? Because I see that is part of what makes us zombies or dead people. You know what I mean? I think so, you know. And again, this is such a cold game that's being played on us. It's like, damn, it's so simple. It's cold. You know what I mean? It's a cold play, but it's simple. You know, it's some simple shit. We've been rocked to sleep, man, on some bull crap. Indoctrination is the new crack cocaine. I see dead people, bro. Not that I count them out, but they are not on count with our liberation. The white man's job got them detached until the enemy knocks on their door. Then it's about what we need to do. Yeah, yeah. I don't like them kind either, bro. I don't. I don't like them kind either, man. I was talking about this the other day about our sisters more than our brothers being on code with this situation we got, talking about group economics and whatnot, and then them like being off code or acting like they didn't get the memo, and they go up in these situations, right? And lo and behold, them people do what they do, trip on them. And so the first thing they want to do is whip out their phone and we're going to look, y'all, this how they treat me. Now, this thing been going on. We've been doing this thing a month now, you know. Oh, so now it's, look, hey, y'all, what we going to do? No, man. No, you wasn't even down with the get down. You know, you decided, man, I'm going to do what I want to do. You know, it ain't my money, you know, yeah. And went up in there and got just totally disrespected. First thing, pull out their phone. Look at how they treating me. Yeah, see, y'all, we got to get this. Yeah, you don't shut the hell up. That's what you get. But yeah, that's how they act, bro. That's how they act, man. They all in with them people, man, till they come till they switch up on them. Come to get them. Like, hey, man, they tried to come. No, bro, we just told you a week ago, a month ago. You weren't with us. Now you want us. Yeah, that's some cold shit. We got them doing that. We got them doing that. We got them doing that. Farrah said, man, we could all be somewhere else, but we chose this particular outlet at this hour, bro. They saw it and kept moving. There you go. Man, that's another thing we do. You know, again, I was saying earlier, a lot of us be having blinders on. We tend to look through the lens of other people, and as a result of that, we you know, we're not looking for ourselves. You know, we're not minding, you know, our own perspectives. You know, we're being taught, trained, indoctrinated to get down based upon what someone else is feeding to us, you know, in terms of what we think, what we see, how we act, and even speak. You know, that's the get down, man. You know, that's some sad shit to me. And I was saying the other day, last week, I think, I be having to check myself. I don't know if any of y'all find yourselves reverting back to some shit, you know, like, oh, there's some bullshit, you know. And you have to mentally, spiritually even check yourself, you know, hey, man, you know, get your shit together, bro. I wonder if that had anybody else, because I know a couple of times I've had, man, what are you doing? What are you thinking? You know, And I say that, say that's how some of this stuff is so ingrained in our makeup, our get down, that it's a constant struggle, a battle even to make sure it's eradicated. You know, we have to be on point. Otherwise, you look up, man, and you be right back in some shit that you like, damn, I get back on that. You know, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Hey, this is some crazy shit, man. Hey, everybody, I gotta say, man, this shit on us. Like I said, man, like we know this racism shit, people, you know, jaw jacking about us, this, that, and the third, man. All that shit is a distraction. All that shit is actually happening in the hopes that we remain distracted, that we don't say, you know what, man, we've been used to this. This ain't nothing new to us. Y'all done everything. Y'all done threw everything at us, including the kitchen sink. Ain't none of this shit new. We got this, you know. They don't want us to see that like that and deal with it as such, you know. But I gotta say, a lot of us, I'm pretty sure, would say, this is our job, man. We're obligated, man, to do what we're supposed to do as men and women, as a family, as disconnected as we are, you know what I mean, as dysfunctional as we are, we still have an obligation to be that. Men, women, family, you know what I mean? So I'm saying that to say, man, focus on the focus, man. Focus on the focus. Anytime we go on social media and we give those sites, say, oh, the Asian said this, the Mexican said that. That's not focus. That's not us being focused. That's us being distracted. You know, that's time out of our day minding some frivol, you know. All the shit, man, is lined up the way it is for a reason. It's a diversion. It's distraction. You know, the last thing they want us to do is get it together. Because then, if that happens, they're out of business. They're out of business. So this thing is on us, man. This thing is on us. Real spit. Fat Rat said, man, to hell with multiculturalism and diversity. That little brother Nolan, damn. Man, is that some of the saddest shit? I'm looking at this shit. I was getting mad at the dad because he didn't, I don't know. In my mind, man, I'm like, man, you ain't exhibiting enough energy, man. You know, your energy was fuck that control shit, you know. But I got it. I got it because the mom was already, she'd already broken down. It's like she was gonna break down, and I felt, I kind of understood. Okay, he had to contain himself, man, to keep her, you know, where she not gonna just, you know, lose her damn mind as a result of losing her son. So I backed off, and I, you know, gave it a lot more understanding. But listen, man, and I mean this, there's no way, there's no way that would be, that I would sit cool with any of that, straight up, you know, straight up. Hey, you know, that's some fucked up shit. And this, look, y'all, this is happening to our brothers, man. This is what they're doing. I was talking to the wife the other night. I think that there is this thing going on, and this is, I don't know how to even label it, what to call it, but I think this is what they would like to call, no, this is just what it's always been. You know, we've seen this shit, man, for as long as we've been here and our people been here. This is nothing new. You know, again, I go back to saying this is on us. Same way we talk about sisters when they pull up in the gas station, lock your doors, protect them, do what you're supposed to do. We tell brothers, hey man, don't be that fool that go off with a bunch of crackers and they getting drunk and shit. You got to be a fool. A lot of our brothers and sisters are wired like that. They're fools when it comes to these other people. You know? And I'm just thinking this mother, man, this sister, I'm thinking, is she blaming herself? The dad, is he blamed for not, I don't know, it's as if somebody didn't tell him something that he could have actually used that would have probably prevented him from being in that position, you know? But we see this all the time. And I think this is something that they've always done to our people. You know, and again, this is on us. Anytime this type of shit happens, this is on us. Damn, that's messed up, man. The brothers, he had black friends and they told him, don't hang with them. We don't listen, man. We got to pay more attention, man. Yeah, we defend our, hey, man, we survive. We do more than survive. We continue to live, you know. To hell with multiculturalism and diversity. That little brother Nolan in Mississippi incident was convinced by his misguided parents to think he was safe. Hell to the gnaw. But that's that indoctrine. That's what it is. A lot of these parents, the sister, Tamla Hornsfoot, thought it was cool. A bunch of cracker women to have a sleepover. She the only one there. Yeah, we tell ours all the time. Hey man, do not put yourself in no position where it can be over. You know what I mean? We don't. You know, got a niece. I be on her neck. Hey man, nah, that shit ain't cool. Fuck all that. You know, it's Rodney Hinton time. That's what I'm talking about. But anyway, sad shit, man. And I'm telling y'all, this on us. This is on us. We got to get it together, man. That's it. That's all. Henry said, absolutely, brother Bub. Farrah said, man, he was in a get out place. Right? Yeah, I am gonna watch that movie now. Yeah, man. It's time to do some riding, y'all. That's some sad shit, man. I don't care how you look at it. And I didn't, for me, like I say, I thought about the brother, the father, and I was seething. Because, you know, I'm just, man, the energy wasn't right, bro. You know, in my mind, like, okay, why are you in front of a TV camera in that setting? You know what I mean? You know, Rodney, you know, Hinton, man, what, you know, with, and I thought about the mother, man, the sister, and I'm like, okay, but that's not the look. That's not what they should be seeing. You know, that's not what they should be seeing. That they should be, you know, that mother, yeah, now with that fire in her eyes, like, yeah, an eye for an eye. You know, proud of a man. You say, "Good family, man. What you gonna do for your family?" All right, everybody, it's time, man. Yeah, we're gonna be all right, though. This is a struggle. This is ours. We were made for this. Sound bad. Just sound of that sound like, oh, hell no, bub, you tripping. Nah. We were made for this, y'all. Because there's something in this for us. that nobody else is going to get or receive. You know what I mean? This is ours. This is ours, man. This is our moment, our time. All right, I'm like Henry, man. Henry said, everyone have a peaceful and safe weekend. All right. Love yourselves, take care of yourselves, and then those around you are loved and taken care of. All right. Power's in the people, y'all. It's time to wake up, black people. It's time to wake up. You are, you have been, and you will be under the groove. One love. Hold your head and that black fist high. All love, everybody.
Count the names, count the bodies, count the victory. Cullen Hughes, Hearst, the writing future history. From the Apollo to the borough to the sphere. Where the echo of those Harlem nights still ringing clear. So when they ask what happened in those tenement flats, between the spirituals and where consciousness is at, tell them we transform suffering to scholarship and song. Tell them we've been telling you we're brilliant all along. The Renaissance will prologue every decade since the sequel. Every black child born's continuation of the people who survived the Middle Passage, survived the Jim Crow laws, and built magnificence from nothing but their vision and their flaws. That's in the sergeant is once a less than Hatters, hats, and Mercedes. Please don't you, I can't stop us. Power sensitive, watch the appeals for polls. Need your data, talks and counsel any problem when the wedges want to build the season bait. Now don't get the pause. It's just erasing up the times. Plead the walk and soft the main. Make it on the fans. Turn and neck and love the durn. Suffer like a kesha. You were wrong to preaching up on side as each alone. Bitch on the shit and untrue seeing vets. Someone that buried in some Gary land. Be hell in heaven, you see what the banner fin. You wait something for the marker rate to keep him full the trumpets on the boards. To the singer land is carried open slowly. Keep us looking on my mother. Break your channel. Resi more than he and let the blessed be. And every time we keep a spawn.